The Commanders lose their preseason opener against the New York Jets by a final score of 20-17. But you know what, man? I think I'm coming away from this game with a lot more positive feelings than maybe I was even expecting going into this one. Welcome into the Commanders Report. I am your host, Jack Sperry. And let's get into the news of the day here. And right now, our thoughts are with Sam Hartman here because he had to leave the game in the fourth quarter this afternoon because he had to leave the game with an injury to his throwing shoulder. That is his right shoulder. He was being checked out, did not return to the game. So we hope Sam is all right and he's going to be able to finish out the preseason and make his case to be the QB3 of the Commanders. Before he got injured, he had a couple nice plays. He threw a near interception. He had a 20-yard run. He was slinging that thing a little bit. So I hope that Sam is okay, and I hope that he's going to be able to continue playing in the rest of these preseason games. So let's get to first the winners here on this beautiful Saturday afternoon here. I thought Jayden Daniels was the number one winner. He only played in one drive, but damn, did he look good, folks, man. He goes out there and, he's completing his passes. He looks efficient. He hits a beautiful deep ball to Dyami Brown. It's a great catch by Dyami. We'll talk about him in a little bit here, but Daniels also had a rushing touchdown on the read option, which is something I was calling for, man. And, something that's definitely apparent is that the QB run game is going to be a part and a big part of this Commanders offense this year with new offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury. So Jayden Daniels really had a good day today. I thought he looked sharp in his one drive, and I think the fact that he only played in one drive points to the fact that he is leading the race to be this team's QB1 in 2024. Then we get to Dyami Brown here, who I thought had a good day as well. Had a couple really nice catches. He had a big third down completion for a first down. He had that contested catch down the field from Jayden Daniels. So Dyami, I think, is showing his worth. I think a lot of people talked about Brown as somebody that, maybe wouldn't make this roster this year, that maybe he would have to have a good camp and a good preseason, and maybe he did. And maybe he was one of those guys, but I think he's starting to solidify himself as a bona fide mainstay in this wide receiver room, as most likely a wide receiver 3-4 option, a rotational wide receiver that can make those contested catches down the field. Very talented individual. Hasn't really been able to cash those checks to this point in his career, but so far so good here in the 2024 preseason. Jamin Davis, I thought, had two very good run stops early in the game today. He single arm bringing down running backs, man, and not just any running back. Braylon Allen, one of the biggest running backs in football, the rookie out of Wisconsin, drafted by the Jets this year. Jamin is a freak of nature. He is strong. He was playing on the edge. He was playing really well today, in my opinion. I think he was a pretty darn big winner. And, it's kind of perplexing to me why he was listed as a backup player on Dan Quinn's original depth chart released earlier this week. Then we got Potoa'e. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm probably butchering that, but he had a sack today. He looked pretty darn good with the second team rotation in this football game today, and it's always good to get a sack, so he was a good winner today as well. I thought Olamide Zaccheus actually had a really good day, both as a receiver. He was getting open. He was shifty. I had a nice 24-yard completion that was eventually brought back because of a holding call, but he looked really good on that slant, really good after the catch, and then he looked really good as a punt return man as well. So I think that Zaccheus does bring quite a bit to this team in terms of his value as a receiver as well as a punt return man. I think he's turning out to be a pretty darn good signing, if you ask me. Ben Sinnott was probably the number 2 biggest winner to me, the rookie out of Kansas State, the tight end. I mean, he had a number of catches today. He had a seam ball. He had another short completion that he got a first down on that he created after the catch with. I mean, after the catch, this guy is just a monster, man. I mean, this guy's very quick. He's got rare quickness for his position, which makes him a matchup nightmare. And he's really good after the catch, man. And he showed that today. He runs with it like his hair is on fire. He doesn't go down easy. I love players. I love players that play this way. It's Dan Quinn's type of mentality, and I think that he's going to be one hell of a player for this team moving forward. Ramiz Ahmed, I would also list as a winner here because he played better than Riley Patterson, man. What can I say? Ramiz Ahmed hit a nice field goal today. And with Riley Patterson missing his field goal, I think Ahmed came out the winner, at least today. And Michael Wiley, undrafted free agent, comes in here, and I think he looked better than Chris Rodriguez Jr. and Jeremy McNichols. I mean, he looked really good today. He had a touchdown in the second half. He was creating running lanes. He was doing a bunch of different things. He had played with good vision. I thought he looked pretty shifty and explosive. Now, he's a backup, right? He's not going to usurp Austin Eckler or Brian Robinson Jr. by any stretch of the imagination. But is it completely far-fetched to think that he could maybe squeeze in at the number 3 running back spot, especially if he continues to outperform McNichols and Rodriguez? I don't think it's out of the question. I think Wiley really made a good case for himself today. Now I'll get to my losers here from this preseason Week 1 matchup here in just a second. But first, I want to tell you about today's sponsor at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets to whatever event you choose. So whether you go see a Commanders game or a Nationals game, Capitals, doesn't matter. And also if you want to go to a concert, music festival, theater performance, it doesn't matter. If you can buy tickets to something, Game Time's going to have you covered with the lowest price guarantee on every single ticket to that event. You also get all-in pricing on their app so you don't get slapped with crazy fees at checkout, and flash deals so you can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to game time, already on top of their guaranteed lowest prices. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use Chat Sports for $20 off your first purchase. You could go to a game today and get $20 off when you create a Game Time account today. You use Chat Sports for $20 off. Again, that's Chat Sports, one word, all caps, Chat Sports, right down there in the bottom of your screen for $20 off your purchase. Again, that only applies for your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem code Chat Sports for $20 off with Game Time. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. So listen, man, I don't like to call guys losers off of one performance or anything like that, but, it is a winners and losers segment. So the guys that maybe their stock went down a little bit, let's start with Emmanuel Forbes. Because Forbes, let's face it, he got dogged by somebody in Jason Brownlee, who is a reserve-type player for the Jets. And we know, if you've been following the practice reports from the Commanders this week, Emmanuel Forbes has been terrible all week. He's been getting cooked by a number of different receivers, especially Garrett Wilson, and he hasn't looked good. And then he goes out there. He does have a pass breakup technically, but then he gives up a touchdown on a fade to somebody that he should be able to completely cover easily as a former first-round pick, right? So if he's going to be stepping up as the number 1 corner for this team this year, I think he has a lot of work to do. I think that he's a lot closer to what he was last year as a rookie when he didn't play well to where he needs to be going into his second year in the National Football League. Hope I'm wrong. Hope he turns it around. Hope he has a great season. But call me skeptical at this point based on what I've seen. Then we got Marcus Mariota, who had also one drive today. I was a little surprised Mariota only had the one drive. It didn't really end out well. It was a 3-and-out. I thought he made a couple mistakes. And, it sounded like he was throwing down the field or making any big-time mistakes or anything like that. It's kind of a milquetoast day. But, on a day where Jayden Daniels is looking like the star of the show, Marcus Mariota is going to be the loser. So because he didn't show out today, he is on today's losers list. We put Ramiz Ahmed, the kicker, in the winners list because he made a field goal, and Riley Patterson is on the losers list because he missed a field goal. Of course, Patterson recently released by the Jacksonville Jaguars, and now he hasn't been kicking all that well here with the Commanders either. So right now I do give Ramiz Ahmed the slight advantage in this kicker competition right now, but throughout the week it hasn't looked good for either guy. Today it was Ahmed's day. Then we got to Chris Rodriguez Jr., who I've had high expectations for heading into the year. I thought he showed some good things at the end of last season, but today he didn't really do all that much. He wasn't really creating for himself. He was just kind of, getting whatever the offensive line was willing to get for him today, and it just wasn't overall the best day for Chris Rodriguez Jr. I thought Michael Wiley did a lot better than him. I thought the two starters, and Brian Robinson Jr. and Austin Eckler, looked better than him, and I thought Chris Rodriguez Jr., this is an amazing opportunity to solidify yourself as a true number 3 option and potentially even a future number 2 option. But he didn't really do that for me today, and he was probably maybe the least effective running back on the Commanders this afternoon. And then overall, the entire offensive line is a loser today, man. They were getting beat at the line of scrimmage all day long. Pass protection was, I would say, better than I expected, but still not fantastic. The run blocking was not good at all. There were lots of tackles for loss for the Jets today. And overall, it just was an underwhelming performance. Lots of false starts, lots of holdings on this group as well today. So they got to clean up the penalties. They got to do a better job moving guys off the spot on the defensive line. I know the Jets have a good defense, but they played their backups today, right? There's just no excuse, even for backup offensive linemen to not get the job done and limit penalties, and they didn't do that today. So I have some takeaways here to wrap up today's show. First one is that Jayden Daniels is the QB1. I've been saying this for weeks. I've been saying it since he got drafted, all right? I know that it's one drive. He only had 3 pass attempts, right, for only 45 yards and 1 touchdown, but, like, he looked in control of the offense. He was putting the ball accurately down the field, and then he ran it in easily for a touchdown with easy gas. So, like, made the right read on the read option. Like, he did everything that he was supposed to do today. And he's been doing everything in practice. He's been looking better than Marcus Mariota in practice, and now he's looked better than him in a game. So I just think that all the momentum is going towards Daniels being QB1, and I think Dan Quinn's going to announce it this week. Then we get to my second takeaway is get ready for the QB run game, man, because it wasn't just Jayden Daniels running the read options. They even had Jeff Driscoll run a couple, and they also had Sam Hartman run at least one today as well. So Driscoll had 3 carries for 23 yards, and he had a long of 16, which was a big pickup. So Driscoll, the fact that they're willing to do it with him, who's not the most athletic guy out there, tells you that they want to practice that with everybody else on the field. And that Jayden Daniels, a big part of his game and this Commanders' offensive game this year is going to be with the QB run game, which is very exciting. Then we get to my final takeaway here is that I like the process and the effort from this football team today. I thought they did a good job relatively on punt and kickoff return coverages. And I thought overall, the team moved the football. I think they made some decent plays on defense from time to time. Defense maybe not quite as good as offense, but I just think that overall, guys, that this team is well coached. And I got that sense. They're well organized. They're not committing a ton of penalties unless you're on the offensive line. But overall, this is a disciplined football team. They played with high energy all throughout the 4 quarters, which is what you want to see. I think Dan Quinn, the new head coach, has this team on the right track, absolutely. And I like the process that I saw from the Commanders today, despite the loss. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're going to have you guys covered with free coverage on every single Commanders game this year leading up to the 2024 season. Really do appreciate all of your guys' support. And until next time, hail to the Commanders.